Today I'm bringing you to Hyde Park to show you about this property we purchased from someone that inherited the property, someone that was going through probate. So if you have a property you're looking to sell and you are going through a probate process, this video is for you. So first of all, what is probate? Well, probate is the process of transferring ownership of a house, right? A real estate. And if the estate needs to be probated or not, it really depends on whose name is on the deed. Typically, people go through the probate process when someone passed away and they leave that property, that house, to a family member or someone they're related to. Now, that family member, their name is not on the deed, and even though there is a will, you probably still have to go through the court system and file all the legal paperwork in order to be the executor of the estate, in order to be able to sell the property in the legal way. If you're going through this process, you need to work with a probate attorney to make sure that you go through all of this quick, right? Because it can take a long time, and make sure that you are covered. In Massachusetts, depending on which county you are in, it takes somewhere between 6 and 12 months. Keep that in mind as you go through this process. Now, as I mentioned, we purchased a ton of houses and quite a few of them through probate. And in this particular one I wanted to show you, we're in Hyde Park. It's a single family attached house. Seller and their family have been going through the probate process for 2 years. I'm not sure why it took them so long. We just actually approached them the last 45 days, but it took them 2 years to really get to the finish line. When we connected with the seller of this property, we realized right away they were just tired of this whole probate process. They told us right away that someone in the family had passed away, they're out of state, they're in Georgia, so think about it, here in Boston, being cold, having tough winters, people can break in, frozen pipes, all that issue with a vacant property, and they were thinking about that. Right on that first phone call, we realized what they were struggling with, and our solution was to close on this quick, right? That's what they needed, that's what we provided. And price, we gave them exactly what they needed. They're extremely reasonable on their asking price, and we showed up at the property, we submitted them a cash offer, and in 45 days we closed. So how were we able to close so fast? Number one thing is having the right probate attorney, right? This was a probate property. Having the right professionals makes the whole difference. It had to be someone local because they know the court system, they know the timelines, they know the paperwork, right? So that's the best way to handle it. We connected the two parties. Our attorney did a title search, figured out what needed to be filed. So our attorney took care of all that. Now, what we were focused on was being able to buy the property as is, because we knew the seller was not gonna come here and do any repairs for us or anything like that, right? So the offer was cash. We didn't need a bank because a lot of the stuff here, it's actually not functioning, right? You got no electricity, no gas, no water right now. So a bank has a problem with that. They're probably not gonna fund us. We know what needs to be done here, so we don't need the seller to do any work whatsoever. And the other thing is, we said, we're gonna buy it with everything you leave behind. You, Mr. Seller, Miss Seller, you don't need to clean the property for us. This is what we do. Day one for us is clean up and some demo. So they actually loved us for it because they didn't have to send people over to clean up, or they didn't need to fly to Boston, again, disrupt their life, stop their life to deal with us, right? That was our goal. Simple, easy, figure out the probate process to make sure that we can have a clean title at the end, and they got paid. And the best part of all is, which I love the most, is getting a Google review, getting a video review from them, which shows how happy they are now that the process is done and the burden is lifted off their back, right? Because for them, more than money, more than anything, was about just moving on with life.
He was able to, put what we needed in the paper and do all that good stuff. But then we got on the standpoint with the probate, and during COVID, and I'm like, okay, this process is extremely long, so I didn't worry about it anymore.
Win-win all around, and we can now focus and repair the property and put it back on the market for a family to move in. Here are some other benefits that you can expect from working with us. Maybe probate is not what you're going through, but you're still interested in working with us. Buying cash, again, number one thing that we provide value. And by that, I mean, we're not coming to closing table with cash in a suitcase, it really means that we're not working with a bank. For you, it's a guaranteed closing date. And we let sellers always choose the closing day. We had people closing 4 days, but we had some people closing 6 months. Homeowner can choose their closing date. Very difficult to do if you're working with a bank. Number 2 is we're buying as is. We're not doing inspections. We don't want you to do repairs. If you have structural issues, if you have repairs that need to be done, we'll take care of it. Number 3 is you can leave everything behind. And by leaving everything behind, sometimes I mean even tenants. A lot of people, and I'm actually at that stage with my family where we have accumulated a ton of stuff. People have the same story, right? We have things that we inherit through the years, it's shoved in the basement. We tell people, leave everything behind that you don't care about. Take the most valuable stuff, leave everything behind. We don't need to buy clean homes. The last thing I want to say as far as benefit is, if you live in the property and need help with trucks, with laborers to move your items to the next place, we are very flexible and provide all of that. And by the way, you don't need to meet us at the property, right? In this case, person was in Georgia. We spoke over video, we spoke over phone, we communicated through emails, all was handled that way. So you don't have to meet us in the property. If you're out of state or anything like that, or out of the country, as long as we have access to the property, and sometimes if we don't get access to the inside, even looking at it from the outside, we're able to make an offer. So keep that in mind, because that can be a roadblock for a lot of people. So if you're in a similar situation and thinking of selling a property, give us a chance. Fill out the form on the website or call the number below and we'd love to reach out to you. Our top priority is to make this a win-win for both of us and get that 5-star review at the end of the process.